Thursday night, we go behind the scenes of 135 years of history on CNBC's Run for the Roses, the Kentucky Derby, and the business of horse racing. Breeding horses is big business, bringing in an estimated $4 billion each year.
40,000 thoroughbreds are born in the United States each year. Of those, 23,000 make it to horse racing. And of those, only about 20 make it to the Kentucky Derby.
The odds of breeding a Derby winner are absolutely astronomical. But just to make it into the starting gate, the odds are against you. So to finish first is unbelievable.
While breeding horses is big business in states like New York and California, owning and breeding horses in Kentucky is an especially lucrative business. It brings in an estimated $4 billion every year. It's one of the leading reasons the Kentucky Derby thrives in its home state. Horse owners are willing to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for the chance to have their mares mate with a Derby winner.
If you have a horse that wins the Kentucky Derby, the value of that racehorse exceeds your wildest imagination.
A Derby winner can net its owner hundreds of millions of dollars over the span of its career as a stallion.
Winning the Kentucky Derby really makes that horse an extremely valuable commodity in the stallion market. It's probably the premier factor that people want in a stallion prospect is a Kentucky Derby winner.
Typically, most racehorses retire from racing after 3 or 4 years. Then they're sent to a breeding farm to start their second career, known as standing at stud. For the next 2 decades, they're expected to mate with as many as 100 to 120 mares a year.
Usually their libido is good much into their 20s, but about early 20s, mid-20s, their fertility starts to fall off.
For some racehorses, the transition into their new lifestyle can be a challenging one.
I think it's kind of like athletes retiring from a profession. Some of them handle it very well. Some horses have a lot of trouble, but once they figure out what their new life is, I think they're pretty happy with it. Who wouldn't love to have somebody bathe you, brush your hair, bring you girlfriends? It's quite a life.
While the enormous popularity of online betting helps boost yearly revenue for Churchill Downs and racetracks around the country, it causes another aspect of the sport to suffer: attendance at the racetrack. Racetracks acknowledge the decline, but argue if they don't offer fans attractive alternatives like online betting, they will lose them altogether. So far, the strategy seems to be working. Every year, about $15 billion is bet on the horses.
That, by the way, is more than the combined box office of all Hollywood movies in the course of a year. So while horse racing isn't quite as popular as a live spectator sport as it used to be, it's never been more popular as a betting attraction.
The evidence? In 2005, total betting on the Kentucky Derby tops $100 million, the highest ever in the history of American horse racing. Each year since, Derby betting exceeds that mark. Despite its problems over the years, horse racing is still one of America's most cherished traditions.